Leah. How are you doing?
Oh, keep on keeping on.
Not giving on. Yeah, likewise. So thanks for joining me for my little coffee break this morning. Actually, tea.
-2.
So I'm just wondering if you could sort of introduce yourself and say, your whole life in 2 minutes or less.
My whole life in
Who
2
you are,
minutes.
where you are, what you do, all that jazz.
My name is Leah Freitag. I live in Regina, Saskatchewan in Canada. Presently, I am a reference and programming assistant at the library, basically doing all the programs. In a former life, I was a teacher for 10 years, all over the province. And yeah, working from home.
Working from home. So how does one work from home for a library, which is books?
Yes, so
usually.
Libraries are not what they used to be. They're not just books anymore. We offer lots of digital stuff. So in our case, we offer, learning through different platforms like Libby and Gale. You can rent books on the internet. You can watch movies. You can do documentaries, everything with just your card. So it's all free. We've just moved to online programs. So you can log in with Zoom and bake or garden or look at birds or, so many different options that we're working on right now.
And so is the working on that stuff, did that sort of come about as a result of COVID-19, or was that something that was already kind of in the works prior to pandemic days?
So because of the population being so diverse and needs being so diverse, we really tried to keep everything as equitable as possible, which meant doing everything physically at the library. So now that we can't do that, we've switched to online. So it is a new thing for us to be doing.
Okay. And how are people responding to that? Is it going well? How are the employees doing with that?
Well, some of us aren't working. A clerk can't really work at home.
Yeah.
So it's mostly my job and the managers and such like that. A lot of people are concerned about returning their books or using our computers. We have a lot of people that depend on that. So that's a lot of what we're getting, but we are getting a positive response to kind of our new online push.
Okay. Because that's the kind of stuff I was thinking about, which is why I was keen to talk to you. Because when I think of libraries, I think of like running around touching everything. Like people, I think of how many people I've seen in the library, like pick up books and, like people who smell books and kids like touching everything, or people who go there to use the computers, which are obviously, they're touching everything.
Yeah. So especially in our more diverse areas, you've got your homeless to your CEOs in the same space. And so, yeah, there was always if there was a flu, everybody was going to get it. So, I mean, the fact that we're not open right now is a little foreign to all of us. If you think of the 1960s, 1950s, when you went to a library, you walked up to a person and said, I want this book, and they got the book for you. You didn't walk around to touch everything. It was, I would say, not equitable then, but it may be what libraries look like in the future. We are really trying to find a way to allow computer access. We're really trying to find a way, maybe curbside pickup. There's other provinces that are open already and doing curbside pickup. There's other provinces that are not considering opening at all right now.
Right.
Because things are reused. So it's kind of one of those trial and errors, and we're really paying attention to what other places are doing.
Yeah. And what do you think, because I don't know there in Canada, but I know like in the UK, for example, there are a lot of libraries that are sort of rebranding themselves more as like community centers, or they're going towards like the library of things, so that you can go and borrow a drill, or you can borrow a guitar, or you can like sign out, I guess, a whole range of different things. And those places are concerned now, of course, because if you're borrowing things, you're touching them. They're in people's houses, and then they're going back thinking, do we have to sterilize? What's going to happen?
We are not just a book lending facility. We lend out toys, musical instruments, artwork. So all of
out artwork.
We do, yeah. You can.
For people who pretend that they have like a really extensive art collection for a dinner party, and then they're like, it's from the library.
Well, it actually gets used quite a lot.
How cool.
So I don't know what, maybe like plays or offices, or I don't know, but it does get used quite a bit.
How cool.
So it's again, I don't really know what any of that is going to look like. We do want to, none of it is something you can only use once and never use again. So we just need to figure out what the waiting time in between customers is, and then go from there. Knows what that'll be like. I'm sure a piano and a guitar have different wait times. Like I don't know.
Like the theme right now, no one knows anything.
Nobody knows anything, exactly. And so we're just the government here has decided when we get to open. So when we do, which we don't know when that is yet, we'll have to figure it out.
Yeah. Do you think this is going to be a potential help or hindrance to the whole already existing discussion around, will paper books become extinct? What's the word I'm looking for? Yeah, you know what I mean.
The thing is that yes, you can get books online, but we still get way more circulation on paper books. Kids like opening them. With children learning, you give them block books. They eat them, they play with them, they learn about books in a physical way. And you completely take that away. It's a very important part of learning. And so it can't disappear. It won't, at least not for 20, 30 years, I think. Because even though we add digital platforms, people still want books. And again, we just need to figure out what the waiting period is in between checking in and checking out, and then make sure that covers get sanitized and stuff like that. But we've been doing it for how long? Nobody gets sick from a book. Nobody's ever gotten sick from a book. You don't get a flu from a book. So we just need to figure out what the new normal will be.
Cool. Well, I should really get a library card, I'm realizing.
Oh my goodness, yes, you need a library card.
I haven't had a library card for a really long time, and I kind of miss it.
Well, it's neat because at the bottom, at least at our library, it tells you how much you've saved based on the amount of books you've checked out, and most people it's thousands of dollars. And so, it's always good to find out you're saving money and still getting some cool books.
Yeah, which is also going to be an issue for people post this time, or for the rest of the duration of this wobbly history.
Well, and that's the other thing to note. Libraries become extremely important during an economic depression, and more people without jobs, more people without secure futures, and we will need to be there for them. We will need to offer the computers and the courses to help with resumes and job interviews, and maybe they can't afford internet now, so they need to connect with their families. So, we will be very, very important when this is all over, regardless of how much help people get. People fall through the cracks. So saying that we won't need libraries anymore couldn't be farther from the truth. They will be so important once this is all over.
Cool. Well, I'm going to get a library card. As soon as I leave the house, I'm going straight to the library when it's open.
And you got to find out what cool things your library lets you take out beyond the books.
Yeah, so maybe this is a nice place to end with an invitation to anyone watching to look into your local libraries, and maybe you offer a service that they could use and help give courses to people, or maybe your library has some kind of program where they take a guitar you don't want and then they can lend it out. Look into your libraries, see what they're up to,
Yes.
and see how you can help them.
Libraries are still relevant today. Go check out your library. Yay, books.
Leah says enthusiastically.
Yay, books.
That was better. We'll end with that. Have a really good day, Leah. Thanks for chatting with me.
Yeah, for sure.